Minister. I now give the floor to the representative of the Principality of Andorra, the Prime Minister, Zamora.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Since the outbreak of the war, the position of my country of Andorra has been clear. We stand with Ukraine. We strongly condemn Russia's aggression against Ukraine. The illegal deportation and forcible transfer of Ukrainian children during this ongoing war constitutes a serious human rights violation. For this reason, the Andorran government has decided to join the coalition for the return of Ukrainian children, a decision which I would like to reconfirm today. Furthermore, my government supports the objectives of the Bring Kids Back Ukraine initiative. During Andorran's chairmanship of the Councils of Europe Rapporteur Group on Social and Health Questions, the Consultation Group on Children was established and held its first meeting in 2023. The group's objective is to discuss effective ways to protect the rights of the million of Ukrainian children who have been forced to flee their homeland since the start of Russia's war of aggression and now reside in Council of Europe member states and Russia. Moreover, we propose utilizing specific United Nations mechanisms to protect children affected by armed conflict. To this end, I would like to invite you to support the Office of the Special Representative of the Secretary General for Children and Armed Conflict and to join the Proof It Matters campaign. Tomorrow, my country will host a side event to reaffirm our commitment to children's rights. It is of paramount importance to ensure the protection of children's rights and freedoms in the context of this armed aggression in full compliance with international law and the Charter of the United Nations. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister. I now give the floor to the First Lady of Lithuania and thank her so much for joining us today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United Nations General Assembly is the forum where a broad coalition can be mobilized by building common understanding and awareness across all countries. War itself is a form of madness. The so-called theory of denazification is nothing but an innate Machiavellian distortion of Nazi racial theory. It is a policy that must never be repeated, and yet it is now being dangerously spread on a global scale. It is a Machiavellian crime to accuse both past and present victims and to shift onto them the guilt of the executioners. Yet these are the consequences of the domination of the aggressor's sick ideology. Ukrainian children are being torn from their families and deported from their homeland. Their culture and national identity are being erased. They face illegal indoctrination, falsified history, and manipulation of collective memory. These actions aim not only to justify Ukraine's occupation today, but also to normalize the dehumanization of entire societies in the future. This is lethal for humanity. The same forces caused the Holodomor, carried out deportations to Siberia, and filled the mass graves of Gulag. They forced the expulsion of the native Crimean Tatars who had lived peacefully in their own homeland, in sovereign and independent Ukraine. They launched the full-scale war in Ukraine in 2022, and now the same forces are blaming the Western civilization for the consequences of the war. We must understand how harmful it is for humanity to revive such ideologies, to promote them as acceptable, and to spread them means to accept the mass devaluation of human life and the distortion of the Holocaust. Today we see how quickly and brutally such thinking can be forced into the minds of any society through brainwashing. Public attitudes, perspectives, and values are being altered This is a profound threat to humanity. We must stop the mental manipulations of the aggressor. The international community and professionals must unite to face this global challenge to social psychology worldwide. We need more scientific research on the impact of war on mental health. Mental health support is needed not only for Ukrainians, but also for all post-war societies. We need more effective practical tools to provide real support for families suffering from war and post-war emotional wounds. Lithuania is already committed and will continue its support for Ukraine in the field of children's mental health and psychological rehabilitation, not only with words, but with actions too. We are working with mental health specialists at the Ukrainian Center in Vilnius. Experts are providing psychological help and self-help methodologies for children of war veterans and refugees. Lithuanian universities are cooperating with Ukrainian universities on research into mental health issues and psychosocial rehabilitation of children. The challenge of mental health is essential for long-lasting peace in the world. Lithuania calls on the international community to unite, to seek solutions, to strengthen the resilience of our societies in the whole world, for Ukraine, for children, for our common future. Thank you.
I thank the First Lady of Lithuania very much for her talk. I now give the floor to General